Hola chicos. So in this video, we are going to look at the paper 2 Spanish, CSEC Spanish, May, June 2026 paper. So the first section is the directed situations, and it's important here that we pay attention to the functions and notions in each situation, right? So I'll give you a couple of responses. In an online chat, rather, your friend wants to know about your family, right? One thing you like about your family. So here expressing likes and one thing that you would like to change. So my first response requires the use of the past subjunctive, the imperfect subjunctive, right? So I'm seeing the need for the subjunctive. So if you are writing the exam or you're preparing for the exam, it's wise to review all your tenses. So my first suggestion is, me gusta que mi familia es muy unida, pero me gustaría que tuviéramos una casa más grande. So for those who are not familiar with the past subjunctive, it's important that you review it, right? Because after the verb gustaría, you need it. So basically, this is saying I like that my family is very close, but I wish or I would like that we had a bigger house. Another one that you could say is maybe you could say me gusta que mi familia es muy unida, pero quiero que mi hermano limpie más, but I want that my brother cleans more. I want my brother to clean more. Another suggestion, you could say something like, mi familia es muy divertida, pero me gustaría pasar más tiempo con ellos los domingos. There are many different ways that you can express the change or many different things that you can say in terms of what you like about your family. So the first two examples I give would need the subjunctive, whether the imperfect or the present. Well, the past or the subjunctive, or the present subjunctive rather. But the second one is very simple. We do not need the subjunctive. So I'm gonna include that one as well. Right? Mi familia es muy divertida, pero me gustaría pasar más tiempo con ellos los domingos. For the second one, we have here, you are applying for a summer job online. Complete the section of the application form that requires you to give 2 reasons why you are suitable for the job. So this really simple. If you are applying for a job, I mean, there are so many things that you can say. This is just a suggestion, right? So an example here, as you're seeing, soy una persona muy responsable y puedo hablar 2 idiomas con fluidez. So I'm a responsible person and I can speak 2 languages fluently. Another one, you can say something like, soy muy trabajador o trabajadora y tengo la capacidad de aprender cosas nuevas rápidamente. So I am very hardworking and I have the ability to learn new things quickly. Or tengo experiencia con los niños y siempre trato de ser muy puntual. So I have experience with children and I always try to be punctual. Again, there's no specific information about the job, the type of job. So you could say, give a quality and maybe talk about a skill that you have. So obviously, you can pause the video and take down the information as I go along. So on this side, we have, you are visiting the zoo with your family. Write a sign, you see that warns. So this one is talking about warning, right? Of 2 things you should not do during the visit. So you are at the zoo, I mean, normally you would see things like don't feed the animals, don't touch the cages, things like that. So I have, no se debe dar comida a los animales ni tirar basura al suelo. So do not, or you should not, or one should not, say the way is using the safe form, which makes it a bit impersonal. So you're saying one should not, right? So one should not feed the animals nor throw garbage on the floor. It's like saying no se permite as well. So no se debe can be replaced with no se permite. Dar comida. So giving, well, feeding the animals is not permitted if you use that structure, no se permite. I mean, you could be very simple as well and say, usted no puede entrar con mascotas y no debe tocar las jaulas. So I could give you that one where it says, you cannot enter with pets because usually pets would scare the animals, right? Usted no puede entrar con mascotas, or if not scare, create a bit of a havoc. So, ni no debe tocar las aulas, so don't touch, you shouldn't touch, so you don't touch the cages. Another structure that uses favor de, and if you use favor de, we usually use the infinitive. For example, we could say favor de no gritar cerca de los animales y no saltar las balas, right? So maybe you can say something like that as well. You're upgrading the information on your community report, sports club website. Write your contribution by stating two advantages of being a member of the club. So a very simple one, or a simple response. Again, these are just suggestions. What you want to pay attention to is the structure. Es una oportunidad para conocer gente nueva y mantenerse en buena forma física. So it's an opportunity to meet new people, of course, and to be in good shape or to keep in good shape. Maybe you could say something like something that you could actually do in terms of being part of the club. Usted puede usar el gimnasio todos los días y participar en torneos gratis. Right? So you can use the gym every day and participate in free tournaments. Or if you want to say something like members, so los socios o los miembros tienen descuentos en la tienda, so they have discounts at the store y pueden aprender deportes nuevos and they can learn new sports. You would like a relative to buy something for you online. Write the message you sent to him requesting the item and explaining why you need it. So this is the request and explanation. So maybe you could say your uncle, like for example, tío, ¿puedes comprarme este libro porque lo necesito para mis clases de la escuela? So I have that suggestion. And it's something online, right? So it's like you send a photo. You could say things like, por favor, and you can use a command, cómprame estas zapatillas porque las mías están rotas y tengo que practicar deportes. O something like, necesito una computadora nueva para mis tareas. ¿Podrías comprarla em, para mí? You are creating an Instagram post about your favorite tourist attraction. Write a post in which you encourage persons to visit the attraction. So you have to encourage persons to visit, giving a reason why they should do so. So you can say, recomiendo visitar las montañas porque el aire es puro y pueden ver toda la ciudad. Right? So I'm recommending to you all to visit the mountains because the air is pure and you all can see the city. Or you can say something like, tienen que visitar la playa Maracas. Es una playa hermosa y pueden comprar bacon shack o comprar o comer el plato bacon shack. I'll give you this one. I'm just trying to paste it. Right, there we go. Les recomiendo visitar. Look at the structure, right? So again, just to review it, looking at the structure, no se debe, no se permite, right? Usted no puede. Es una oportunidad para plus the infinitive. Puedes comprarme, right? Les recomiendo. So while we are satisfying the function, the information is there and it's clear. Moving on to the next page. So here we have at your local hospital, there's a poster suggesting two things you can do. So two things you can do to stay healthy. Write the information that you see on the poster. So things like, again, you can use the same simple, se debe comer frutas, muchas frutas y verduras para tener un corazón fuerte y sano. So it's two things that you must do to stay healthy, right? So I'm using the se debe as in, one should do this. Or if you want to use I would not recommend using the tú puedes over here because it's informal, right? You are seeing a hospital sign. So they're speaking to the public. Maybe you can use usted. Usted puede, right? So perhaps something like this would be fine. Usted puede evitar las enfermedades si duerme 8 horas y se lava las manos. So you can avoid diseases or illnesses if you sleep 8 hours and wash your hands. While your neighbor is away, you witness a burglary at his or her home. Write a message you send, giving him or her two details about what happened. So to keep it simple, we could use just simply say that there was a robbery at your house, give a time, and say something that they did. Okay? So I have, for example, hubo un robo en tu casa. And I'm using hubo here as opposed to había because it's an incident. It is already completed in the past. So there was a robbery at your house a las 10. So at 10 o'clock, that's one detail. Y los ladrones rompieron la puerta principal. They broke the main door. Okay? Maybe you could say something like alguien, somebody, right? So alguien entró en tu casa anoche. So someone entered your house last night. Por la ventana, so that's one detail. Through the window, y se llevó tu televisor nuevo. And they took away your new television or tu televisión nueva. You receive a text message from a classmate inviting you to a midweek party. Write your response giving two reasons why you cannot attend this party. So it's an important detail here. It's during the week, right? Midweek. So maybe you could say something like, no puedo asistir porque ya tengo otros planes. I already have other plans. Y mi familia tiene una cena importante. And my family has an important dinner. Or you can say something like, no puedo ir porque tengo que estudiar para un examen y debo cuidar a mi hermano. So I think that this one is simple, right? Or you can add things like no puedo ir porque tengo que estudiar y no me siento bien o me siento un poco enfermo. Again, the reasons depend on what you can say or your vocabulary level, but keep it simple. Look at the structures I'm using. And last one, as student council representative, you leave a note for your principal explaining your disapproval of a certain school rule with a reason. So expressing a disapproval with a reason. Maybe we can say something very simple, like talking about the uniform. No estoy de acuerdo con el nuevo uniforme. So this is my disapproval. I am not in agreement with the new uniform. On why? Porque es muy caluroso y muy caro. It's very hot and it's expensive. Okay, so we can say something like that. Or no me gusta la regla, I don't like the rule de no usar celulares porque podemos usarlos para investigar en clase. So I don't like the rule of no cell phones because we can use them to research in class or to do research in class. So, guys, these are my recommendations. Like I said, the responses are not limited to these things. You can express your views or your ideas or your recommendation, your suggestions, your warnings, your reasoning. But once you follow the functions, each of these situations has a particular function, whether it's suggesting, apologizing. Well, we didn't see any apologizing here. Disapproval, expressing your the first we saw opinions, yeah, we saw that. So you can express what you want to do, but it's important that you satisfy the function and you answer both parts of the situations. You don't want to answer one part and leave out another one. Okay, so I'll see you in the other video for the letter.